Just for our records, I see we have a couple of phone numbers dialed in. Number and a 217 number ending with 18. Can you just let us know who that is?
Ending in the 1918 is Yifeng Lin from Illinois Water Resource Center. Thank you, Wade, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Glad you can join us. I see that's glad you can join us. All right, and then I also have a phone number, a 717 area code ending in 20. If you could let us know who that is.
Jason Zhang from State Water Survey.
Jason, all right, glad you could join us. Thank you very much. We have
Thank you.
Right now, let me just make sure we don't have anybody else join us. Rick, do you want to wait another minute or so before we kick on? I still see some individuals joining.
Sure, Wes, let's give it another minute. Okay, Wes, I think we're ready to roll here.
That's good. Rick, go ahead and kick us off if you'd like.
Sure, thanks, Wes. So welcome, everyone. Appreciate you joining us for the first meeting here in 2026. I hope you all come back from the holidays renewed, refreshed, and speaking of repurposed, it looks like we may have, the change happened. I was going to say, I think we repurposed a slide there from 2025, but we made the change on the fly. So here we are in January of 2026 with a pretty full agenda here. So appreciate everybody attending. Welcome. And Wes, I'll kick it back to you for the first order of business.
Yeah, Rick, thank you. I'll go on ahead and just move as usual first on to roll call just to confirm that we have a quorum. So I'll just go through the roll call, just answer whether or not you're here officially so that we can confirm that we can conduct official business. So Rick, if you want to go on ahead and lead us off.
Here.
Okay. For ORC, Brian Metzke.
Present.
Okay. Department of Public Health, Brian Cox. Hearing none. Oh, I hear Brian. Yep, I see you. Thank you, Brian. Okay, for IEPA, Jeff. Okay, thank you, Jeff. For Department of Transportation, is Brian there? Brian McCoy, I am not seeing him on the participants list, so I will assume he is not joining us. Moving on to the Department of Ag, Brian Renneker. Just checking the attendance list. I do not see Brian joining us either. Okay, we'll move on to IEMA, Zach. I do not see Zach on attendance either. Okay. Moving on to Pollution Control Board, Anand.
It's Essence from the Illinois Pollution Control Board today.
Oh, okay. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Essence. I assume you'll be filling in for Nan?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. DCEO, David Workman or someone else from DCEO? Okay, hearing none. State Water Survey?
Hi, Wes. This is Jenna. I'm here today.
All right, thank you, Jenna. And Yufong, I believe you were on the phone earlier.
Yep, I'm still here. Thank you very much, Wes.
Well, good to hear. Well, I have that we have 7 of the 11, which is what is required for to have a quorum. So, Rick, it looks like we have an official quorum with an attendance of 7 out of 11, 4 members missing. So with that, I'll go ahead on to the approval of the meeting minutes. You all should have gotten a copy of that provided by email on January 6th was the most recent copy that was provided. Should be seeing on my screen, I believe. Let me just double check to make sure that's coming through. The Word document. You'll see we just corrected a couple typos here. No other meeting minutes changed. Again, just a few minor typos that were mentioned. Was there any other comments or suggested changes for the October 20th, 2025 meeting minutes? If there are none, I'll take a motion to approve the meeting minutes as shown.
Move to approve.
Okay, got a motion from Jeff. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
I gotta say that I think the first one was David. I wasn't quite sure on that. So second from David from PRI, and then I guess we'll go ahead and move into voting. All those in favor, say aye or send up your thumbs up emoji, however you prefer to do it. So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Sounds good. Any opposed? Not hearing any. The meeting minutes are officially approved as shown at today's meeting. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to just legislative updates. There's been a few things that have popped up on our end, and I thought it'd be beneficial just with the legislators kind of getting going once again. I know they're active there at the Capitol once again. So I'm not sure if there's other agencies that have anything they're tracking, but Rick, I will turn it over to you. I know you had an inquiry about microplastics. Do you want to discuss that just briefly?
Sure, thanks, Wes. And as you pointed out, I think with the legislative folks back in session or near that, we're likely to see an advancement of issues coming to the agency way in terms of proposed legislation. This one, we're not there yet, but I did just want to share that we've had interest through the agency from Senator Simmons' staff. They've reached out to our legislative team, really with an interest to potentially advance. We don't know yet really what this may look like, but potentially advance some proactive strategies to protect or specifically address microplastics in Lake Michigan, really from the big polluters perspective as we're hearing now. So as it would relate to the State Water Plan Task Force, there's been some initial thought of advancing a specific request to have a subcommittee formed to look into this further. if your agency happens to be tracking this as well. And I know this is an issue I believe that the EPA is certainly tracking, and through the state of Illinois here, specifically IDNR, we have a seat on the Great Lakes Commission, and there's been a focus through the Great Lakes states also to address microplastic pollution impacting the waters of the Great Lakes. So it's certainly something that is coming to light more than it has, I think, in the past. And really, I just happened to do a quick Google, or I'm sorry, a search of the state water plan, and sure enough, microplastics, at least the issue was identified there in Chapter 5 water quality. So, there it's a new and emerging issue. We're starting to see what sounds like some potential legislation. I just wanted to highlight that piece for the group, and also ask if others are seeing that from your respective positions, and if so, what you're hearing, and then also offer it up to the other members of the State Water Plan Task Force to elevate any other potential legislation that's coming your way. So, Wes, that's what I have on microplastics. Looking forward to other insights from the members. Over.
Yep. Thank you, Rick. I guess Jeff or any other state agencies, you guys have anything further on this this legislation that's kind of starting to make its way through, and have any input on it or thoughts?
I have to admit, I am not in those discussions. I'm sure they are at other areas of the agency, but I'll check into it and get back. Okay.
Sounds good. Anybody else on the topic of microplastics, or any concerns or interest in, being more involved in that if that committee were to take form? I guess we don't need to have that discussion today, but something to consider. I guess, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is there a bill number or anything along those lines associated with it?
Rick, do you
got that? Right. Thanks, Wes. No, we're not tracking any specific bill number. I don't believe it's advanced to that stage yet. So, no, nothing there yet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Does any other agencies have any legislative updates or any thing of that topic that they'd like to share with the other state agencies? Maybe put it on our board so that we're aware of it. All right, hearing none. The other topic I was going to share with you all, as is pretty common with this time of year, is we conduct our annual plan update. So this is kind of a draft. Usually, last year we approved it in April. So I just wanted to get a draft out to everybody to see kind of where we're at. I've still got some tweaking to do, but I wanted to, first page is all kind of set format. At least that's how we've done it in the past. I'm obviously open to any recommendations on changes, but here's where we kind of list out the 13 topics and kind of showing how we've progressed on each of those. Right now we're at 11 completed recommendations of the 146, with 85 of those have actually been started. We kind of show our tracking of progression, and that's just tracking this percent progress. That's essentially taking the average of all the progress for all 146 recommendations we have in the plans, and show that how that's been tracked over the time. And then we also show just kind of a summary of when our meetings were held. This is all kind of standard on the first page. Again, if you have any recommendations on how to improve upon this, I'd be more than happy to hear, take any feedback. And then the second page, we typically have a highlight of some of the recommendations that have been completed here. And then if we can usually put some kind of graphic in here just to cut up the text. I was probably thinking of taking something from this climate change model and maybe showing how rainfall has changed over time and going into the future. I was diving into the report and I didn't see a good graphic there that I was really happy with, so I might have to create one here. But if there's another graphic or another recommendation that you think should be highlighted in this top section, please let me know, as well as if there's any key progress highlighting that the bylaws were created and passed earlier. We created the Lake Michigan beach access and also the drought response subcommittees this year. And then these were just some of the highlights I grabbed from some of the other sections. And that's just looking at that status update that you all kind of send my way. If I see that something's really noted in 2025, I'll say one thing, I might consider kind of cleaning this up a little bit. Some of these, Jeff, maybe a little hard to figure out how up to date some of these are and everything. So I might kind of look at kind of cleaning these up and maybe seeing if some of these status updates are a little out of date as well. So just know that may be coming, just to make, again, I kind of use this to provide any major progress in this annual update, and also just to provide information in case Rick or myself are asked by any legislators or any general public, sometimes NGOs, about some of the progress we're making. So I guess right now I'll just kind of open it up if anybody has any comments or thoughts on this recommendation or this annual update. If you have any thoughts on how to improve it, or if anything should be included that I've excluded. And also, if you guys would like, I can kind of share this with you all, so that, again, the idea is that in April, we can officially vote to approve this annual update. So any thoughts, questions, or comments?
Hey Wes, this is Pete Mulvaney. I'm not with an agency, but I do think that one of the strengths of this state water plan in the process is the interdepartmental and intersection or cross-sectional collaboration. And I was wondering if that might be a metric worth sharing on your dashboard page, such as a column indicating how many different groups are working on these different initiatives, or some way to indicate this, what I think is a very powerful message of collaboration.
So Peter, right here, you're suggesting that we potentially not only list what state agencies are involved, but also what stakeholders, the number of different stakeholders we have that are involved in this process. And maybe that could be tracked by evaluating essentially what were topic committee members or something of that nature. Is that what I'm kind of hearing?
Well, close, Wes. It's more about the amount of interactions between agencies. So it's nice to know who the lead agency is, but what's much more powerful is to know that it's not one agency doing all the work. It's getting input and some kind of metric around collaboration that indicates in good intergovernmental processes.
Yeah, Peter, I guess I'd be open to see how you would see us practically doing that. I think we try and do that by highlighting all of the partners or members that we have in this task force. As you kind of see here at the bottom, we have that listed in our on our page as well. As far as the number of interactions that occur between the agencies, that might be a little difficult to track. I know we have a lot of informal interactions that occur. I guess I might have to ponder on that, or if you have any good recommendations on how to practically share that information, maybe take some thought to that, and you could send it my way for evaluation to see if we could include that somehow. I think it is important that we continue to stress that, and I think our legislative leadership has seen that, and that's why I think we're seeing some of these subcommittees being requested, because they find the model for the State Water Plan Task Force being so beneficial. So I think the word is getting out there, but how to maybe portray that or convey that in a better method, I guess I'm open. If you or anybody else has any recommendations on how to show that, I guess I just struggle a little bit with what that may look like.
Thanks, Wes. I will send you offline some ideas.
That would be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Does anybody else have any other comments or questions, particularly you topic leaders? If you think that I've only got, 6 key progress tasks and only 3 recommendations complete. We completed a few more of that, but some of them overlap a bit, and I may have missed over 1 or 2 of those. So if there's anything that you would like to see highlighted here, you can let me know at this moment or send me a follow-up email, but I know sometimes it's hard to remember to follow up after a meeting. So I guess I'll just kind of keep it open for a little bit longer to see if there's any other comments.
Yeah, I'd like to, this is Dave. I'd like to suggest that we, or one point we could add is progress on the state climate mesonet, 3D mesonet. There are a couple of positions mentioned in the update. I could send you some text on that if you'd like.
Yeah, David, was that in your most recent submittal that I know you sent me, or was that on the previous? I'll be honest, I don't think I got to your updates because I just received them.
Oh, yeah. No, I sent them a little bit late morning. Yeah, it's in the current version I sent you this morning.
Okay. I will take a look
at the first item.
I'll take a look at the most current version.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was going off of the October just because I haven't gotten all those updates in, but I'll take a look at that and add it. I was actually looking at that because I believe in the prior update, it did have some comments about potential funding or partnership, but I'll take a look at the most current one. Oh yeah, here it is about the UC Department of Climate. You guys are partnering with them. So I'll take a look at your newest update and maybe put that in probably the key progress area. I think you guys are still working on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you feel it's appropriate, I think it's some nice progress. But okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, David. Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments? Well, all right. Well, hearing none, we'll go ahead and continue on with the, I guess the standard format of the meeting, which is where we just kind of allow each state agency to kind of give an update either on their topic or any critical updates that they may have for the agency. Again, just kind of making sure that we're aware of what's going on, not only in our office, but also in the entire state and what other agencies may be dealing with. So go in standard order. So Jeff, you have any updates on EPA?
Yeah, I got a few here. We had a green infrastructure grant opportunity, notice of funding opportunity that was, we received a number of proposals in November, and we're finishing up the selection process on that. But that's the last year of a 5-year round of funding, $1 million per year. That's, we're going to be winding that up, but also big projects. It'll go on for about 2 years. Let's see. The Section 319 program had 10 success stories approved by US EPA. These are stories where we talk about projects that we funded through the program that have led to improvements in water quality, either by delisting stream segments on the impaired waters list or through showing some kind of improvement for that. And so that's actually something we want to do a little bit more and it's not necessarily restricted to just the 319 program. We want to be able to tell stories about how we're working on these projects together. So one of the things I think we want to do is follow up with Department of Agriculture and learn a little bit more about where some of the funding is going for that and for different programs, and see if we can show links in improvements in water quality from spending of that funding. So it's a really important thing that we really need to tell those stories a little bit more. And related to that is the surface water sections, going through all of its data for the last couple of years, and is putting a lot of work into the integrated report, looking at what's the status of the water quality in the state. So that'll be coming out. I think it's, well, I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it'll be in the next few months coming out. So for that, I think I'll just leave it at that and let other people talk or see if anyone has any questions.
Jeff, thanks for the update. Unfortunately, Brian Reneker from Department of Ag isn't on today, but I hope that you can follow up with him or somebody from Ag to have that coordination. I guess we will open it up for any questions to EPA.
This is Tara McParland from Office of Water Resources, and with the green infrastructure grants, I was just curious. I heard you say 2 more years, and I didn't know if there was any plans in the future.
Well, the projects that we'll be funding here will go for 2 years, but this is the last round of funding here for this last set of proposals that we got.
Okay, so I guess I was asking if there's going to be any in the future.
Yes.
Based on your
that I am not aware of it at the moment. You know that's something that a number of people have asked about and raised questions about, but I'm not aware of that at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other further questions for EPA? Hearing none, we'll move over to Dave with climate change.
Okay, yeah, I'll just update 2 items that are 2 recommendations that we had in the climate change section here. One is about expanding the climate monitoring network within the state to more sensitive areas. Currently searching for a Mesonet executive director, I believe, and a Mesonet operations director has been hired, with the focus on, at the moment, building an advisory committee among government, university, industry, to help move the project along and give a broad amount of input from various interests. So it's being headed by Jenny Atkins. Trent Ford is heading the recommendation on developing a web-based climate toolkits. And been working with IEMA, IDPH, and U of I with some NOAA funding to continue developing a state climate dashboard. And beta versions online will be available in the spring. So hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have some information on that.
All right, Dave, I assume that you'd be willing to share that probably at our April meeting if it's available, at least what that link would be, if nothing else, or maybe even give us a quick go.
Sure, absolutely.
Sounds great. Any questions for Dave? Did you have anything else?
No, that's all I was going to cover right now.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Any questions for on the climate change topic? All right, hearing next, I guess I am up with the integrated water management, and we have been focusing on setting up that IWIC, the Integrated Water Information Center. I know that we've been working pretty closely with PRI and Dr. Shelton and her team over there to get that going. I believe Dr. Shelton has reached out to Internet of Water, and we had a few members go over and attend a conference or a workshop over at Indiana as they're kind of looking at setting up something similar on their end. So we are kind of starting to get a little form to that, or at least we're starting that. And it looks like Internet of Water is looking to maybe help Illinois with getting that structured a little bit better. So hopefully in meetings to come, we'll be able to provide a little bit more detail to that. But progress is being made, so we're happy to report that. Not too much else in the other recommendations right now, so I will open it up if there's any questions for me. Not hearing any. We'll I guess we'll move over to EPA. I don't know if Nadan is in. I don't think I see him on the list. I think Jeff, you may be the only one from EPA that I see on the list. Do you have anything on the long-term funding, or would you just like to?
Yeah, just briefly, the revolving loan fund issued over $1 billion in low interest loans for water infrastructure projects for the first time. Everyone put in a lot of work for that on our staff, working with all the hard work going in for all the entities that were looking for funding. And also, I mentioned last time that the agency was going to start a technical assistance group to assist on water and wastewater infrastructure. It's more on the water side for now, and someone has been hired, started in December for that.
Great to hear.
And that's it.
Wow, $1 billion, that's a big landmark. Awesome. Anybody have any questions for EPA on long-term funding? All right, hearing none, we'll move over to Wei Han with water sustainability.
Yes, thank you, Wes. Part of this work was done by State Water Survey. So, Jason, would you please update on the study on evaporation impact and minimum stream flow protection first?
Yes, the lake evaporation project is moving smoothly, and we are downloading and collecting all the data that's needed to calculate the lake evaporation. So we are in the process, and it's progress as planned, and we still expect we'll complete it by summer of 2027. And the minimum flows, we are talking about the in-stream flow river availability. Is that what you're referring to? Because I don't have a computer in front of me. I don't see the table in front of me. I just want to make sure I'm talking about what you're referring to. Are you referring to the?
I see that, but Jason, since your doing this work on the studies. So I didn't update these two items. So next time I will reach out to you first, and I will let you update on those recommendations, so we can have a complete update before the meeting. But
Yes.
yeah, and
Sorry,
also
I'm driving on the road, so I don't have access to whatever table we are referring to. I know the Excel sheets, but I just don't have it in front of me.
I see. Okay. Well, we will reach out in advance next time.
Yeah.
Also, Jason, also I know we are also working on improving water use report through outreach and metering. So that's a continued effort at State Water Survey. So at IDNR, during this period, we continued working with stakeholders and contractors on regional water supply planning for sustainability. As a supporter of this program, we have completed a bathymetric survey at Vandalia Lake at the request of the local municipality. Also, a drought subgroup was created during last year's July meeting. The first meeting of this group was conducted last month in December. We have discussed drought issues statewide and believed that these issues could be addressed by updating current state drought preparedness and response plan. We have also discussed approaches and steps to update the drought response plan, but a final determination has not been reached yet. We will need more representatives from each agency who will respond to drought to join this group and work on updating the plan. So with that said, I am going to send an email later asking about this. Please keep in mind that these representatives could be listed as contact person for each agency in the new drought response plan. That's all I have. Wes, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Wei. I think that's
Wei, can I add a little bit more on the sustainability thing?
Yes,
If
please.
I have time.
Yes,
Yeah, I
please.
just want to report on the communities that we have been working meeting with Sullivan City, which is facing decreasing groundwater for between 10 about 15 years. So we have meeting with them, and we're trying to help to see if there's potential at alternative water source for them. And also we found out SLM had a water infrastructure issue because of the Cascade Channel is widening for more than 40 years continuously, and that impacts their water intake. So they're looking ways that may help them to solve this issue. And the channel, based on what I heard, it's still widening, and it's going to further impact their water intake. Even with the same level of stream flows, they have a hard time to get the water because the mainstream, the water flows from the other side of the channel, not through their side of the intake. That's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
Jason, I didn't catch it. What community did you say that was that's having groundwater issues?
Sullivan, SULLIVANOVUN. I can email you the name of the city.
Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you. I think Wei made a great point that, if your agency is impacted during drought, it may be beneficial to jump onto that drought response task force just to make sure that you're kind of being making sure your agency is well connected whenever we hit droughts. I know we have one every year. We have one right now, but we fortunately haven't had a major or an exceptional drought in quite some time. But I think there can be a lot of collaboration that occurs during that time. So be good if you have interest. You can feel free to reach out to Wei, or as he mentioned, he's going to be sending out an email. Just respond to that upcoming email. So just a good opportunity for us to further collaborate on water issues in the state. So any questions on water sustainability? Okay, hearing none, we'll turn it over to Meg Kelly on Lake Michigan. Meg, are you there?
I am. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay.
I can hear you just fine.
All right, fantastic. Nice to see and hear everybody. Just a few updates from our end in Lake Michigan around resiliency. We did issue recently a guidebook for a guidebook of a resilience roadmap, essentially, for Illinois North Shore communities. So that is being hosted on our website. I can share a link in the chat. So we're pretty excited. That was a partnership that was produced in partnership with the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative. We also continue to participate in the Great Lakes Coastal Resiliency Study as the state's representative there as part of the partnership and initiative with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the 8 Great Lakes states. We are in the process of identifying specific resources that will be evaluated for a focused evaluation as part of that, sort of big study that's going on. It's a multi-year study. We also are in the process of initiating a bi-state community of practice around coastal resilience. So that's in partnership with the Indiana Coastal Management Program and the Illinois Indiana Sea Grant. We're using a model that Wisconsin and Michigan have developed and been implementing for the last couple of years to support practitioners, communities, local communities in resilience initiatives and efforts along the way. So it's a community of practice, a nice peer learning opportunity between and among our 2 states. That will be kicking off, I think, in the first quarter of this year. So pretty soon, but we're in the kind of planning process for that. We, as far as protecting coastal habitats and restoring coastal habitats, I think I've reported on this before. The Lake Forest Open Lands Association did receive funding from NOAA, almost $6 million for a ravine, bluff, and tow and in-water restoration project. That funding has been approved and officially awarded, and they are kind of off to the races on that project there at the John and Jean Green Nature Preserve. So that's exciting business. We've also submitted a number of proposals to U.S. EPA for Great Lakes Restoration Initiative funding, particularly around invasive species management and other habitat needs. Waiting to hear back on it, if any of those will be invited for, and which of those will be invited for a full proposal. So happy to report out when we know more about those. But I believe our funding request into EPA there was about $500,000 total. And then I think the rest of my updates are, the federal funding sort of status kind of affects our ability to do our pass-through grants program right now. We are seeing that our funding does look pretty secure, but we don't sort of know when it's coming in. So our competitive grant opportunities are currently on hold as we await more information there. And then some of this other, funding around, particularly around protecting and restoring our coastal habitats. We do think some of that bipartisan infrastructure law funding is no longer going to be available for competition as originally planned. So that's kind of a bummer, but also isn't having like an impact on projects that have currently been funding. It's just the potential future projects that look like there's not as much potential future for those. So those are my bigger updates for this quarter.
Okay, Meg, thank you. And just something that we talked about in previous meetings about the subcommittees giving an update. Is there any updates on the Lake Michigan beach access, or not much going on currently right there?
Thank you, Wes. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost a little bit of momentum. Both my team and Representative Katz Moule team had some personal events that affected our capacity over the last quarter. So we did reconnect at the end of December, where our capacity is restored and we are now moving forward, but we don't have anything to report because we have not had a chance to meet yet.
All right, thanks, Meg. Appreciate the update. Does anybody have any questions for Lake Michigan? All right, hearing none, we'll move over to Tara McFarland with the flood damage mitigation section. Tara?
All right, thanks, Wes. In terms of flood damage mitigation, this is something this group has OWR as well as IEMA and EPA as all major, I guess, leaders for some of the 15 recommendations that we have. So I will be getting with IEMA to get a little bit more updates from their particular tasks. Our tasks are moving forward from the Office of Water Resources. They just slowly, they're a long-term for the next 10 years. So the percentages don't go up because we're just consistently adding to those particular tasks like our safer website and our inundation mapping and things like that. Part of why I reached out to EPA for the question was one of our recommendations was related in the flood damage mitigation section it was related to the green and natural based solutions for flood control, which also tied in closely with the water quality green infrastructure. So maybe Jeff, if you could send me an email. I know Chris Davis was on our committee, and she was really helpful with keeping us informed about the EPA's segment of this topic. So if you could give me a new name, I know she recently retired, of somebody, and then maybe we could work together since those grants are drying up, maybe some more brainstorming to figure out how we can keep that initiative moving forward. So that's all I have right now. Thanks, Jeff. Right. And hopefully next time we'll have a little bit more to update. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Is there any questions on the flood damage mitigation section? Okay, not hearing any, we'll move to aquatic and riparian habitat with Brian Metzke.
Thanks, Wes, and good afternoon, everyone. I just have one quick update. If you're fortunate enough to attend the state agency and U.S. Corps of Engineers meeting last week, we did get an update on the wetland remapping project that is being sponsored by DNR and is being performed by researchers at Prairie Research Institute. That project, again, one of the goals, there are several, but one of the goals is to update our current understanding of wetlands across Illinois. So you might think of this as a more contemporary National Wetlands Inventory style product. That project is well underway and is actually scheduled to end by the middle of this year. So I hope to have more to share as we go along this year. That's all I have.
Thanks, Brian. That's exciting news. I know a big initiative here in Illinois. Does anybody have any questions for Brian? All right, hearing none, we'll keep moving and move on to Steve Altman with Water Use Law and Regulations.
One thing that I can update on is the Water Reuse Association is working on a roadmap for rulemaking. It's kind of adjacent, not necessarily adjacent to OWR, but may have be pointed more towards EPA, but could be a big advantage for us with regard to Lake Michigan diversion, be able to offer water that would not be counting against the diversion. That's pretty much the only update I have right now.
All right, thank you, Steve. Is there any updates, or I'm sorry, any questions for Steve in Water Use Law and Regulations?
Steve, this is Tara. I just had a question, and I'm not exactly sure where it fits because it's one of those topics that it's just been in the news so much, and I know we've talked about it, but are the data centers. And I know that's sort of related to reuse potentially, but it's also sustainability. I just didn't want it to be falling through the cracks. There's a lot of different communities that are considering whether they should install those, and I don't know if anyone is reaching out to us for recommendations or anything, but I just was curious where that falls.
That's a great point to bring up. I mean, really kind of one of the drivers for this white paper is looking at different uses and, potentially looking at it as an option for, cooling water. But the problem is that, really we're starting to see a lot more data centers downstate, but, there's obviously huge interest in the Chicagoland area, and kind of the way that the Chicago waterways are plumbed isn't real favorable to getting water to some of these communities. So I know, for more of the Lake Michigan allocation side, we've had some inquiries into using Lake Michigan water, and we're essentially we're saying that's not a good use of Lake Michigan water. We haven't had an outright prohibition on it, but I could see it coming. So I think that there's a lot of other technologies coming out there that may reduce this first couple waves that we've had. It's just trying to find the water that we have. I think that the industry is also catching up as well. We're starting to hear stories about using kind of a closed loop system to kind of have some cooling to kind of maybe not use as much water, not have as big a footprint on the amount of water that's around. No, it's a bigger issue downstate, because a lot of them are using, potentially aquifer water or from streams. And I think that that's kind of the direction things are going, but we still have to keep on kind of monitoring that right now.
Yeah, Steve, I think this is going to continue to be a hot topic. I know even though we're seeing a lot of closed loop systems where they may claim that they only use as much water as an office, there's still the power generation and the water use required for that additional power generation hasn't really been addressed in a whole lot of cases. So I think that's something that we'll continue to work on and work through. I know this is a national issue that's gaining more and more attention, it seems like, every month. So be curious to see where discussions continue to go there. And I assume you'll be keeping us updated as far as things on the Illinois side of things. So I appreciate it. Is there any questions for Steve on water use laws and regulations? All right, hearing none, I think Brian McCoy was able to join us after all. Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you guys able to hear me okay?
Yeah, great. Can you have update on navigation?
So navigation, yes, very brief. We don't really have too much updates from last quarter with the updates. Just reiterating the same report with did receive a couple awards for some projects from our local roads, IDOT's local roads grant program, and other funding updates. Still waiting on the announcement for Port Infrastructure Development Program, federal grant program, and just delays that we're seeing from that due to the federal shutdown. A lot of interested parties are eagerly waiting to find out whether they received a grant award. And also continue work on supporting efforts for beneficial use of dredge material. There's been some recent investments in updating information and disseminating those beneficial use sites from the Corps of Engineers. IDOT's been collaborating on with them on about these sites and trying to get websites updated and maps updated for that information. So it's a good news story. Hopefully, we'll see some products disseminated to the public before the end of this next calendar year. That's pretty much it. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
questions for Brian on navigation? Okay, not hearing any. Our third Brian Renneker, I don't believe is with us right now. Is there anybody here from Department of Ag that has any updates? Okay, I didn't think so. I thought I'd just confirm. All right, so next we move on to Jason Zhang with on the data management. Jason, you have any updates for data management?
Yes, General Director, who I believe she's here as well, and she actually assigned a GIS staff at the Water Survey to conducting the stream gauge network of, assessment to see if it meets this current and the future IDNR water demand needs. So that work is ongoing, and I believe we are in internal discussions of the results, Jenna, what's the timeline you're expecting that we may be deliver the initial recommendations to IDNR?
I hope that we can have some sort of decision tree kind of thing for everyone to evaluate sometime in early spring.
Okay, thank you. So the second part is mainly the networking group, to explore feasibility of stream gauge data that I need to contact you, Wes and Jenna, to see how we can move that with USGS. So I don't have updates on this front. That's all I have for the data management.
All right, thank you, Jason. Is there any questions for the data management section? Okay, not hearing any. Our last topic is recreation. I don't think Michael McLennan is on the call. Is there anybody else from ORC that has any updates for recreation? I think Brian, maybe?
I just want to let you know that I talked to Mike before the meeting. He said he didn't have any updates for this quarter.
All right, appreciate it, Brian. Thank you. All right, with that, we will go ahead on to if anybody has a new business. So I guess I'll open it up to the group. If anybody has any new business, any topics you want to open up and share and discuss with the group. Yeah, Jenna Shelton.
Thanks, Wes. One thing I just wanted to mention is that the Illinois State Water Survey and NGREC are working on hosting a PFAS in Illinois workshop to try and work towards a report for the state similar to the one that came out recently for Indiana by Purdue. That will be held at NGREC in East Alton, Illinois on February 11th. I'll put some information in the chat. We've been talking with some of the other state agencies. IEPA, for example, will be sending, I think it's about 15 individuals. So if anyone is interested in participating in that or knows someone at their institution that would be interested in participating in that, please send me an email and I'd be happy to forward on information and an agenda once we get that up and going. Thanks, Wes.
Oh, thank you. Great information to share with the group. Anybody else have any comments on for new business? Okay, I am not seeing any, so we'll go ahead and open up the floor for public comment. If anybody has a public comment, feel free to either raise your hand or you can probably go ahead and chime on in. Okay, not hearing any, we'll go ahead and move on. Just FYI, the next meeting is scheduled for April 13th. That will be once again a virtual meeting. We did set all the meetings for 2026. You can see them here on the page. So July 20th and also October 19th. October 19th will be a hybrid / in-person meeting. So if there's an agency that's interested in hosting that, it'd probably be good to let me know by the April 13th meeting, just because I know otherwise we'll need to start booking a room here at DNR, but want to open up the chance for another entity to host if anybody would like to do so. So just keep that in mind. So that is the future dates of our upcoming meetings. And I guess right now I will open it up for any topics that anyone would maybe want to include in the April agenda. Well, as always, you can always, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I waited too long to unmute, but this is Tara. One thing I was thinking, I know I love hearing these updates, and I'm not as familiar with all the things that everyone's working on. So maybe if anyone does publish something or we accomplish a recommendation that gets implemented 100%, it might be neat to do a 5-minute little summary of what work was completed and just to let the task force know and help get that momentum and positive vibes going when we do accomplish things, and make sure we all understand it so we can broadcast all that information out with all of our partners. It's just an idea for future. Thanks.
Great recommendation. Tara's kind of mentioned, I think when Dave was giving his update, I think usually we give about 3 or 5 minutes for an update on the agencies, and you can feel free to share your screen or share more information. But if you'd like a little bit more time, I don't think we want to get into an hour-long presentation, but if you want to share a key milestone, or if something was recently completed that is a great resource for others, agencies here on this task force, then it'd probably be a good opportunity to share those with others. So again, you can always reach out to me at any time if you have any suggestions for sharing that recently completed recommendation, or if you have any general agenda topic items that you'd like to be considered for the upcoming agenda. So just a reminder that because of the Open Meetings Act, I have to make sure I have a finalized agenda ahead of the meeting. So I just need at least a week's notice would be beneficial. The more the merrier. But with that, I can probably make that work. But within a week, I'm usually tightening down the agenda and getting that posted here at DNR as per required for the Open Meetings Act. But again, feel free to reach out to me with that. And that is all I have. Rick, I'll turn it back over to you if you have any closing comments as the chair of the task force.
Yeah, thanks, Wes. And only comments, just thanks for the participation today, and appreciate the discussion, Wes. I appreciate certainly your leadership here in advancing the agenda and working through the logistics of the meeting. So I have nothing further from my end, but certainly look forward to the April 13th connection.
Yeah, Rick, and I got a reminder here that to remind you all that if you are an official member listed on that roll call sheet, that the Open Meetings Act requirement does require you to take that training. I think I sent that out last time. So just please, if you can, get that done, and then just send me your certificate. That way, if we get audited for any reason, I have that all documentation available. So again, just make sure you guys get that if you have completed training, and thank you to those who have already gotten that to me. With that, I think we'll go ahead and sign off here, and thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you on April 13th, if not before then. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.